Hello, my name is Jeannine Vote, and I am the Connections Pastor here at Northwoods Community Church, and I'm so glad you're tuning in for another one of our devotionals. Well, last Sunday, we kicked off our new series titled Biblically Correct, and Pastor John gave us 5 views that are commonly shared about the government in his message, Influencing the Government for Good. And if you heard his message in the last view that he gave, he talked about influencing civil government for good. And he shared a verse from Matthew when Jesus is giving the Sermon on the Mount, and he's talking about the Beatitudes, and then he wraps it up with Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 15. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. This verse is a good reminder to me that as Christians, we can help preserve the goodness in the culture around us. Just as salt brings out flavor in our food, we can positively affect the world around us. We can bring out those same traits in others by showing goodness, kindness, and self-control. Now, for many years, our family has given gifts to our neighbors for Christmas. It's often something small that we make, bread, cookies, candy, something like that, just something that shows our neighbors that we care and we're thinking about them. Well, several years ago when we were living in Wichita, we had a neighbor that wasn't so friendly to us. He really basically didn't like our family at all. And he would do just mean things to us. He would yell at us when we were outside, and he wouldn't let our kids ride their bikes on the sidewalk in front of his house. He would even back up his car so they couldn't get on the sidewalk, and they were only 4 and 6 years old at the time. So it wasn't very pleasant, and oftentimes if my husband wasn't home and he was outside, we were hanging out in the house because I really didn't want to have anything to do with him. Well, Christmas rolls around and we're making our bread that we're going to share with the neighbors, and I considered whether or not I wanted to give bread to him, and reluctantly decided we're going to go ahead and give him a gift as well. So we deliver the bread to the rest of our neighbors, and when it came time for him, I was very nervous. So I went over to his house and I rang the doorbell and no one answered, and I honestly felt relieved that no one answered, and I put the bread right there on the ledge by his door and honestly ran home as fast as I could with my heart pounding and thought, okay, I did my part. I included him and we gave him a Christmas gift. Well, about an hour later, I hear a knock at the door and it's him. And I'm nervous because I don't know what to expect. And when I open the door, he has gifts for my kids, a Frisbee for one of them, a ball for the other one, and something small for my daughter. And I couldn't believe it. By us being salt and sharing goodness with him, it changed his reaction to us. It didn't make it better all the time, but us showing him kindness and that we cared changed something in him. It brought out him wanting to do the same for us. Well, we all have those times when we can be salt in the world around us. Whether we're getting frustrated when we're driving or running into Walmart to get a gallon of milk in the back of the store, and you have to get behind someone who's browsing and casually taking their time, and I just want to scream in my head. We all have those times when we can make a difference in how we react to the world around us. How are you impacting the world around you? Are you choosing to be salt and bring out God's goodness in others around you by showing kindness and trying to be calm in the face of your frustration? Well, the next time you're in one of those frustrating situations, I'd like to challenge you to stop and think about it. How is my reaction going to affect those around me? And am I showing them Christ in my life? Well, I hope you'll join us again next Sunday as we continue in our series, Biblically Correct, and Pastor John shares Discovering God's Purpose for Our Government. Thanks for tuning in.